Ready? Adam Boabde.
Martin Smith.
I know you're busy, man. Thank you very much for sparing some time.
No problem, man.
On the programme. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Now we have a little bit of a history.
We do.
Yeah, we've
not
known
film related as
no,
well.
No, not at all. No, we've known each other for just shy of 10 years, really. Yeah. I used to come to your father's restaurant, and then eventually came to your business that you had, your movie-related business.
Yeah, so
and
showing them instead of making them.
Yeah. We used to stand and talk in your business. Really, we used to stand at the bar talking about films, and then we kind of disappeared and didn't see each other for about 4 or 5 years, and then we're sitting
until I put a Facebook post up and you answered.
Yeah, we came down when we were both gangsters, really, weren't we?
Well, I wasn't supposed to be in the film though, that's the thing. I just got dropped in at big style, and because we were shooting near my house, I had a suit, so I jumped in and played the worst gangster in the world. You looked awesome. I was terrible. I hate being in front of the camera. You're great at it. I hate being in front of the camera in a sense of like acting. And it was awful for me, but you were absolutely fantastic.
Robin Hoodie.
Yeah.
It was good fun. Yeah, I remember at the time it was like, I know it worked out really good. I really enjoyed that film,
It was good fun, that film. I mean, obviously that was my first proper like step into like writing, producing, directing, editing. I did everything on it, but it was like my first film. What I'd class as my first film. I'd made a couple of things before that, but I don't want to tell anybody about those.
Yeah, so we haven't seen each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
We are now on the deck of this wonderful battleship. It's absolutely fantastic.
The HMS Trincomalee.
Yeah. Where Ripper was shot.
Yeah. The biggest thing I've done. Not alone, obviously, because obviously it was with James Campbell, but I produced that film and I was first AD on it as well, but that was like just a huge thing in comparison to doing Robin Hood. And even that was quite a big affair. But this one was just like 50 times the size.
I mean, I've had the chance to be on the set of Beowulf, Vera, Dumping Ground, Wolf Blood, big sets really.
Yeah.
The production teams are amazing. For me, my biggest experience was with it. It's actually seeing it, the whole team, it felt like a really close family.
It was. I mean, we had a lot of people who we'd worked with in the past on actors and crew. A lot of the students that we kind of were in the year below us had came out to help us, and then we had a team of pros that were really cool, like who came along and just got involved because of the passion of the project, and it was like this whole family thing. There was birthdays on set. It was my birthday on set actually. I were mental when they all sang happy birthday to me, because we were supposed to wrap like half an hour before they did that, and we were under time pressure, and I was like, get back to work. The person whose place we were at was like looking at us as if they were going to kill us. But yeah, it was and there was another person's birthday on set. It was just good atmosphere, and that was what produced a good film, in my opinion.
I know at the time I had a message from James and yourself, can you come down and give us a hand? And I had no idea at the time what I was actually getting myself into. Turned up and then seeing hundreds of people running all over the place. And I was thinking, wow, I was very lucky at the time I actually brought my camera with me.
Oh, I know, you took some awesome photographs, man.
Thank
like
you.
Literally thousands of awesome photographs.
Thousands.
I've still got them all on Dropbox. It's like costing me so much money each month. But yeah, it was like people like yourself coming along, and like Graham and Den and George and Helen, and I shouldn't really mention names because I'm going to forget loads of people. Sorry guys, who I've forgotten. But it's just this great northeast kind of crew and cast who all came together to make that film possible.
It's amazing. I mean, the network's something that when I first got into it, I was more or less advised.
Sorry, can we just briefly keep that? Also, can I get your phone on the your mic on the outside?
Yeah.
Sorry, that just went in, and during the introduction you could hear it like scratching along
against your hair.
Yeah.
You hairy man.
Sorry guys. Just want to start from scratch with that? Or?
No, we can just keep going. And just obviously that kind of picked up. So yeah, I think we're all right again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where was I?
I don't know.
Big set birthday.
Yeah, the network. when I actually got into filmmaking, I was advised by a friend who's a friend now, Paul Anderson, to get us on as many film sets as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I've took it to a little bit more of an extreme. I know everybody in the Northeast pretty much now.
Yeah.
But what I've kind of come to gather over the past few years, especially when I've been making films, is that the network that we have in the Northeast is incredible.
It is. It's fantastic. I mean, my first year at uni, I should say I went to uni and to study filmmaking in Hartlepool. And that first year I looked on Facebook to see what kind of networks there were out there. And I found Four Bridges, Northeast, which honestly has just been like a lifesaver. I got Jim on there and we just started meeting people and then it just grew and grew and grew. And there's loads of other ones, there's like Northeast and Lord and Orr, and there's Four Bridges Caston and Teesside Crew and Tyne Crew and all these different things. And the community, because we're spread over quite a decent area up here, but we all know each other. You know, it is a small community, but everybody's like so good with each other, and it's not like there's no bitchiness or anything like that where people like are trying to not work with people for certain reasons. It's just everyone just gets involved.
Yeah.
And there's just a great sense of camaraderie between everybody within the Northeast. You know,
it's still growing. It's still growing very quickly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it absolutely. I mean, one thing that we've said from me and Jim, I should say, we've said from the start we want to make films here. We've got no interest in going other places to make films because we love the area. You know, we've got the seaside where we're at the moment. We've got Hadrian's Wall. We've got the moors. We've got big cities. We've got everything that you could possibly want up here. We don't need to go anywhere else.
No.
You know, we've got great crew. We've got great cast. I mean, I just put a casting call out for a role, and I've got a lot of people from London wanting to come up here to do it. Yeah, it's paid work, but it was. Yeah, I was trying to think what I was going to say there. So I got all these people from London applying for this role, and it's the fact that they want to come up here and do stuff, you know, because they've heard about the stuff that's going on up here. They really want to get involved, or it might just be for the money, I don't know.
It's not, it's because we're good up here, we're very good. Your filmmaking journey, I mean, everybody has a kind of background where they're actually coming from.
Yeah.
At what point in your life did you actually decide to become a filmmaker?
So I owned Flicks Movie Cafe, and in about 2010, I got a call from Diane Fletcher, who was the course leader of Cleveland College of Art and Design's Creative Film and Moving Image Production course. It's a bloody mouthful. I just said it was a film course when I was on. Yeah. So she got in touch with me and she said to us, we do a degree show every year, and you've got some big screens in Flicks and a bar. We'd like to put our degree show on in there. To say thank you, we'll make you an advert. And I was like, all right, okay, great stuff. And I know I loved film at this point, but I didn't have that kind of like drive to make films. So anyway, when these guys came in, these students came in to make the advert for me, I was just taken aback by it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I could do that. Not knocking what they were doing, I was like, I could do that better. And so the course that I eventually did was originally in Middlesbrough. It moved to Hartlepool, which was like over the road from my cafe. Mm-hmm. And so the first year that I came, I was like, should I do it? Should I not do it? And I didn't. Then the second year I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go and apply. And Diane, obviously I already had like sort of a relationship with Diane, professional relationship. And so she said to me, yeah, come along. And I ended up getting on the course, and that was where it all began, you know, and it opened something in me that I didn't realise was there.
Creative mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And even before I started the course, so I think I got accepted on the course in March, and before I started the course I started writing. I'd never written anything before. I couldn't write proper English. I think I failed English at school with GCSE, but I just started getting into it, and I found a voice there, and I just wanted to carry on doing it. And the one great thing about going there was meeting people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I met James Campbell, and I met Jay Hayes, who I've worked with on quite a few things, and other people on the course, and we've kept like really tight with them, and the people who will take on to other projects. But then we've also through being at uni and getting the chance to make short films, we've met more crew within the Northeast and then more cast within the Northeast. I mean, I remember the first time, like for instance, I got Den on board, Dennis Hewitt, and I was like, I'd seen him in so many things, and I was like, yeah, dead excited. And he came and he was such a lovely guy, and he just wanted to help us as much as possible, and it wasn't about getting paid or anything like that. It was just he was doing it for the passion, and that's what everybody was like, and it was so exciting, and it created this kind of like what I said earlier on, like this camaraderie, and it was fantastic, and that's kind of where it started, obviously at uni, but then it's grown since then into, right, we're going to be professionals now, we're going to do this professionally for a living. Obviously Ripper was the kind of the start of that, that journey.
I just recently I was doing some voiceover work for CCAD in the college, and had the opportunity to walk down the Hall of Fame, which is Adam Boabda and James Campbell.
It is a bit, isn't it? Yeah, there's a few posters in there. I made all those posters as well.
Really?
Yeah, I made all those posters myself. Graphic designer.
So as far as like the college goes, how are you managing to have a bit more influence with the new sort of students that's coming in?
Obviously, when we were in our third year, there was 2 years below us, so we worked with them and we got them on set of Ripper and things like that, and they helped out on production. And then because I still had flicks last year, I met the new cohort, and me and Jim actually were invited into CCAD to do a talk about our experience of Ripper. I think it was mainly to do with the raising money side of it, because that's one of the, as you know, it's the hardest part of making a film. You can have all the IDs in the world, you can have all the cast in the world, you can have your crew. If you don't have the money, you ain't making your flick.
It doesn't go anywhere.
You know? And don't get me wrong, I know people do make stuff on nothing. And I'm not saying that's a good thing.
That's one of the
or a
beauties
bad
of
thing.
it. But
yeah, it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing. You know, I'm not going to judge anybody for making stuff. I want to make stuff with budgets. Just for the simple fact that I want to see people actually get a bit of money for putting in their time, effort, skill, experience. I want to pay for that. But I also just think it's the right way to do it. You know, I come from a business background, and I don't do stuff very often if I'm not getting paid for it. And it's not because I'm tight arse or anything like that. It's because I just think if you're going to dedicate all of those things, all your time and your experience and your effort, you should get something back from it a little bit. So that's what we want to do. We want to continue like raising money to make films and start an industry up here, because we're all doing it. Like the Four Bridges lot and the Northeast lot and all lot and Nefsoc lot, we're all doing it out of passion. But we reckon we can create an industry where everybody starts actually getting jobs.
yeah,
Which would be lovely.
it's only a matter of time.
It is.
only a matter of time.
Absolutely, it is, because I just think with the heart and the soul that people put into it up here, people will eventually start producing stuff that is going to make money.
Yeah.
You know, and keep that money up and that experience and that business up here in the Northeast, be it in Teesside or Tyneside or Wearside, you know, and just work on it together. And like you say, create an industry.
It's definitely grown. I mean, I've done work with people from Newcastle, Durham, Sunderland, and Hartlepool. I remember getting the message, like obviously when I came down to do the first few shoots of Ripper, I kind of looked into Ripper a little bit more and realised what you guys actually put together.
Yeah.
From start to finish, like, where did this all start?
It was Jim's mad idea. So James Campbell, great friend of mine, he's the writer and director of Ripper. He approached me because we were in uni together, and at the end of our second year we were thinking about what we were doing for our final major projects in third year, and he said, I've got this idea, I want to make a Jack the Ripper film, but I'm going to put Batman in it. And I was just like, what? Yeah, I'm on board for that.
Yeah.
It's literally our lecturers were just like, you can't do that, you don't know Batman. And we were like, we can do it,
Like,
we're doing it.
Batman definitely had the amount of work that must have been on your mind to start with. Was it just a case of just go for it?
Yeah,
or was
absolutely.
Did you actually realise what you were doing when you...
So the way it started off really was that it was going to be very small. It was only going to be a 7-minute film, and we weren't going to tell people Batman was in it. It was a stupid idea, because we'd never raised the money if we had just said, oh, we're just making a little Jack the Ripper 7-minute film. And so, getting too
You've
much.
lost your mic.
Have you? Oh shit, you have.
I think it just went. You could hear it like gradually going down.
Oh no! Where do you want me to pick up from?
Just go back straight back into it if you want, yeah.
Last question, yeah.
Right.
It's kind of messed up as well. Ready?
I'll put it on. Do you mind it being on the outside because it was on the inside before?
No, outside's fine.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've done work in Sunderland, Newcastle, Durham, came to Hartlepool to help you friends to make the film. I heard a little keyword somewhere down the line like, yeah, Batman's in it. What? You know?
That was my experience as well. I was like, you want to make a Batman film?
I think I actually got on one knee, I was like, Adam!
Weirdly, if you have a look in the guest book here, I've written Batman's coming soon. What? This was like, I think this time last year. And it's in the guest book. We'll have a look in there. It was when we were scouting the location. So anyway, James Campbell, really good friend of mine. He had this mad idea about making a Jack the Ripper film and putting Batman in it. And our lecturers were just like, nah, you're not doing that. I'm sorry, but you don't own the rights to Batman. And we were like, it's a fan film. Fan films are legal. Blah 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 blah. Argued the toss, and we managed to convince them to let us do it. We had obviously. Cleveland College of Art and Design, it's not just filmmaking, they do all sorts of stuff. So we met a guy called Judd Marriott who decided to, as part of his final major project, make the Batsuit, the Victorian era Batsuit. So that was great, didn't have to worry about that. And so we just went with it. And so in our first year, our last year at uni, we made a couple of films as minor projects. I made Vigil. And Jim helped out on that for me. But then he went off down to London to work on a feature film with a guy who was originally from Darlington, Martin Owen, and Jim was lucky enough to get to go and work on that with him. And Jim was just telling people about this project. They were like, and he was like, yeah, I'm making Batman. And he had a soundtrack a little bit, and he had some sketches of the Batsuit, and he had like sort of a little bit of a mood board. So he was just showing people on set, and they were getting excited. And there was all this buzz building up of it. And so at this point he hadn't actually written the film. It was still this little 7-minute film where Batman wasn't even getting mentioned until like right at the end. And so, but people convinced him that it needed to be a little bit bigger. So when he came back from London, he was like, right, we're making a bigger film. And I was like, oh God, no, man. So originally we were going to try and raise it like $2,000 to make it, which would probably wasn't enough money, but we would have done it anyway. And then
is Batman here?
And then and then it evolved into a little bit of a bigger film. Maybe it's 12 to 15 minutes long. Then it got a little bit bigger, and I was like, right, okay, even Jim was like, I don't think this is going to work for a final major project. So we decided, right, we're going to scrap that idea, and we're going to do it after we finish uni and see if we can raise a real budget for this film. So we decided to make a film called Blood King as his final major project, which Blood King was awesome. Got us in a lot of trouble because we got a cease and desist letter from the Hollywood lawyer out in LA, and we had to take it down off the internet because there was trademark issues, and so that was a whole other story. Anyway, we graduated uni on the Friday, and we started shooting Ripper on the Sunday, and that was an experience. It really was. Bear in mind, we've been on this project for practically a year, sorting out locations, like the beautiful ship that we're on here at the moment, sorting out costume, props, set design, actors, crew, money, because we ended up having to do 2 crowdfunding campaigns for it, which such hard work. It really is hard work doing a crowdfunding campaign, and we were lucky in that we got a big chunk of change from one guy, and we were lucky to get another chunk of change from another guy who wanted to get involved, and he knew one of the actors, and so that came in quite late in the day. I mean, we kind of went into production with nothing. We'd already spent maybe 2 or 3 grand on getting prepped, on prep, so, and like paying for people to come up and screen test, and just like I think a lot of people don't realise how much money goes on just travel, expenses,
It's amazing.
and paying for people's petrol and feeding them and putting them up in a hotel. That's where most of your budget goes, especially in low budget filmmaking. It's just making sure that people are happy and that they're getting looked after properly. And so we'd spent a few grand on that already. And sorting out the costumes, but we went into production with virtually nothing. I met a guy in a car park and he gave me 500 quid in my hand. And I was just like, I can hire a van and I can pay production insurance now. And that was like, all right, okay, so we're doing this because we've got a van. And so we just went full. We had to have faith. That was the main thing about it. We just had to have faith that it was going to happen. And some guy gave us £1,000, and then when he saw how good things were going, he gave us some more, and it was just like, it was mental. It really, really was. It was hard work, but great. We didn't raise all of our money on that first one, so we had to go. We always knew we were going to have to go back because we lost an actor close to the date who was played sort of a key role, not Batman obviously, but Jack the Ripper, and so we always knew we were going to have to go back to it to raise more money later on after the shoot. And we found it easier to raise the money the second time, mainly because we had something to show for it. Because the first time we did the crowdfunding project, we had sketches, we had actors' profiles, we had all of these lovely things, but all it is, it's an idea in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nothing else, it's just an idea in your head. And that's really difficult for people to just go, all right, okay, take my money. Luckily we got some money, but then when we had a trailer, and that trailer started creating some buzz on social media and like geek websites, you know, like Den of Geek and Geek Tyrant and horror websites and all this kind of, we were like, wow, we've got like a digital filmmaker magazine, did an all expose on it, 6-page spread.
One of my photographs is in there.
I've got
about 6 copies of that magazine, wrapped in cling film.
But it was like, that's when it really took a life of its own, and we managed to get an actor involved, obviously Bruce, which was just a scoop for us. It really, really was, to get somebody high profile like Bruce Payne, a lovely guy as well, to get him to come and work on this little thing that we were doing in Hartlepool. You know, he flew in from Italy to do it on his own dollar, you know, and it was amazing. And we got Kevin Smith involved.
Yes.
That was just...
Yeah, what was over Twitter? Was that was...
that was us just tweeting him all the time. But he donated £500 to the project, you know, and then retweeted it, which probably got us another... I think within that coming week, probably got us another £2,000 direct from that tweet.
It's just been smart, really, where you're actually putting the crowdfunding campaigns to get your money in. You've obviously thought a lot about it.
We learned a lot, honestly. I'd done a crowdfunding campaign prior to that, and I'd just about raised my target, but there was complications with that one where I was supposed to be shooting on film, and I ended up having to shoot digital, so I stopped promoting it. But I still nearly raised the amount of money I needed to. Going into another crowdfunding campaign, we know where we lie now.
I mean, anybody can kind of start have an idea, put a campaign out there on the network type thing. It gets shared to friends and families, but to do what you've done, to raise the money that you've done, you really.
I mean, in total, we managed to raise, I think it was round about £12,000 through the crowdfunding, probably another £1,000 in cash, like car park meetings and other things, and then we probably put another £2,000 to £3,000 in ourselves, which we recouped a little bit of that back, or I probably wouldn't have been able to pay my mortgage. But it all in all, 14 to 15,000 was spent on this film, which is a massive amount of money for a couple of guys who've just graduated uni on the Friday and start shooting on the Sunday, to get, you know, and it was scary as hell. Really, really was, but really exhilarating at the same time.
Yeah, I remember when I came down, it was a case of like, you guys have really got your act together. It was incredibly experienced and hard on the set.
Well, that really came from getting professionals involved. It honestly did, and we saw a whole new kind of way of making films, because we'd been doing it don't get me wrong, we had done bigger films. When we did Blood King, we went up to Hadrian's Wall and we literally took over a youth hostel, and there was quite a lot of crew and quite a lot of cast, and it was professional, as professional as we could do it, you know. But this was a whole new level. These guys knew what they were doing, and we were just like, okay, well that's why we've got you, because you know what you're doing, you know. Because well, why would you be professional if you didn't? You know, so it was a great experience.
I managed to take a lot of behind the scenes photography. You and James talking to Mike, trying to get, obviously deciding what's best and things like that. Just just remember the experience. The whole thing was just wow. This isn't just an idea that some guys thought, yeah, let's make a Batman film. Grab a camera, he's an actor. There was a lot of planning involved. But you, as producer, I mean, I know what it's like and the amount of work that you have to actually put in to put something, just get everybody in one place together. But I can imagine that for Ripper it was a lot larger than just a few messages on Facebook.
That was where the budget helped, because it meant that we could plan much better. Because if you're, and like I said earlier on, we've got this great community up here. We really have, and everybody pulls out the stops to make sure that everything goes well. And I've been on other people's projects. I've been on one of your projects where everybody turned up at the right time and did the right thing, you know. Money really helps that, because it means that you can get people there earlier than they need to be and keep them comfortable, you know, keep them warm somewhere with some food and some drinks, and you can pay for a room so that everyone can stay in, instead of like everybody being shivering out on the historic quay or whatever. And although it was quite nice weather.
No, it was brilliant. Who cares, man? It was brilliant. I didn't feel anything.
And it just kind of like, it really helped having that budget behind us. And like I said earlier, I know people do stuff with no budgets whatsoever, and people still pull out all the stops. It's nice to get something in return for pulling out those stops, you know.
I know Ripper's got over 100,000 views now.
Yeah, just broke 100,000.
Which is classed as a thumbs up, definitely on the local network. It's like, wow, you're kind of one of the leading director producers that's coming through. Definitely people are paying attention there for you.
Yeah, I mean, Jim has got a lot of attention of it, and he's made really good contacts with people in the industry now, and we're both doing it together, you know. I mean, we've got a feature film planned together.
Please Don't Die.
Please Don't Die, quite a title. It's going to confuse a lot of people, so this Please Don't Die, again, Jim's brainchild, and I've agreed to be involved with it, you know, because I just believe he's a bloody good writer, and he's a good director. He's got a vision of where he wants to go and what he wants to do, and I just want to help him get there, you know, and have some fun along the way. And so, Please Don't Die, wrestling comedy. Jim's a massive wrestling fan. I used to be years ago, playing in the garden, jumping off sheds, basically what the film's about. But obviously that was when I was a kid. But having flicks actually opened my eyes again to what wrestling fans are like. And people my age and even a little bit older have kind of are still interested in it, you know, and it was a shock to me because I didn't realise that people were still in it, you know. And so we're doing this feature film, and at the moment we're trying to raise a lot more than 10 times more than 15 grand actually. We're trying to raise 150 grand just for principal photography, just to get us that film in the can, or not even all the film, because we know we'll have to come back and do a little bit more. So this is our first big thing, even though it's still micro budget, you know, it's still micro budget.
There was an old man said to me one day that kind of swayed my mind to continue what I was doing as a passion in filmmaking. And he said to us, if you do something for long enough, eventually you get paid for it. I mean, personally, I'm not really doing it to have any financial gain out of it. I'll do it because I love to do it. For yourself, I mean, your journey in the sort of filmmaking, what is driving you to do this?
I just love being on a set. I hate all the stuff that goes like prior to it. It's hard work. I don't like hard work. Nobody likes hard work. That some people do, weirdos. But no, you know what I mean? It's like getting on that set and seeing it happen. I'm not even bothered about the end product, like seeing it, you know what I mean? It's actually getting involved in just being around people who are just passionate and enjoying themselves. And when you're saying cut and everybody starts cheering and clapping, and it's just that camaraderie again. It's like belonging somewhere, and And I love films, you know. I just watch. Actually, if truth be told, television is what I love. I really do love episodic drama and the likes of your Breaking Bad and The Wire and Mad Men. And I mean, I'm at the moment I'm developing a web series, which it's only going to be very short, but it's something that I think could carry on to a longer format, and hopefully we might get somewhere with it. I don't know. But that I like the episodic version, like the episodic drama type stuff. But filmmaking is great as well, and it all goes hand in hand, you know. It really, really does. Just the passion of it all. It's just so much fun.
I know with the local network, it's something that's open to everybody. If you've got a dream, or you want to try acting, or you want to help, anybody can sort of get involved. You just need to get into the network.
Yeah, absolutely. You do. I mean, obviously, there's levels of people. There really, really is, and you learn it as you're going along. And like I said, we've carried kind of. That's a horrible word to say that. We haven't carried. We want to take people with us who we've worked with in the past to help us along. You know, it's not just about us saying, all right, we're making a feature film, we're going to put you in it, and this is about you like coming in and helping us make that, realise our dream, and hopefully further other people. And it's one thing we said with Ripper, and Jim would back me up on this. We knew people weren't going to get paid massive amounts of money on Ripper, or some people didn't even get paid at all, right? But we said we want to get noticed, but we want you to get noticed as well, you know. And I mean, take for instance Charlotte, our wardrobe manager, costume designer. She got offered a feature film immediately as a
I'm not surprised.
As a wardrobe manager, she was awesome.
Wall,
and then a couple of other people got gigs, and it was just like. That is what we wanted from it. We wanted people to go, all right, okay, the costumes on that were awesome. We're going to get them on board. Or this was awesome. That actor was fantastic. We want to get him in something. And so it was just like that whole, like, raising everybody up. Yeah. You know, it wasn't just about, we're going to use you to get to where we want to be. It's like, right, we're going to raise everybody's game, hopefully, anyway.
Well, it's more or less like the right way to use the network. You'd have people that would make films that want to make better films than this one, and you know, everybody's got a vision. They want to make a film, whether it be good or bad. You know, it's nothing's bad. You know, it's all the art.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, you're taking people who have these different skills and things like that. You've obviously. Just incredible.
Well, it's what we said from day one. Obviously, you always strive to make the next film better. So my first film was Robin Hoodie. I watch it now and I go, oh, God. But I love it, you know. It was where I started. It's where I truly started. I had made a sort of a documentary before that, taking a load of comedians across Hadrian's Wall, which was a great experience. It was like 23 comedians walking 84 miles, trying to get a comedian out of bed on the morning. Man. Trying to get them out of a cold tent, like a tent into freezing weather, and then walking for like 15 miles a day. That was hell. And perform on the night. I'm still working on the project because it's like that huge. But that was like probably the first big thing I did. So then it was Robin Hoodie. Then after that we did Vigil, which again was another. It was a bit of a bigger budget, and it was like a smaller film. But it was on a bit of a grander scale. And then the next one I did was Social Network, which actually was a smaller film than both of the other two. But I used that chance to have it as a smaller cast and less locations, or less grandiose locations, to then focus on the acting a lot more, and also the aesthetics a lot more, putting more into set design, more into costume, more into the actual shooting of it, to raise the game again. So every single one's been a learning experience. And obviously then we did Blood King, which again was another raising it up. That was a big budget trailer. What it ended up being in the end was we ended up having a blizzard on that one.
It looked incredible.
It did. It really looked awesome. But I was actually shooting that one as well. My hands were just stuck because they'd frozen to the actual rig. It was horrendous, man. But it was great fun as well. But then to move on to Ripper, again, a bigger thing. To me, hopefully doing a web series next, and then the feature film. It's just, you've got to take that step up every single time.
Yeah, it's catapult yourself.
Yeah. You have to make that step up every single time, and if you don't, there's no point in doing it. You know, there really isn't. Make sure that you kind of like, you're striving to do the best possible thing, and working with the best people as well. Like I said, I've worked with Jim for countless years to come, I know for a fact.
You've got to find the right kind of people for you.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Absolutely, yeah.
It depends on who you can kind of just get on with and work with, and you have the same kind of passion, drive and vision, and just go for it. Yeah. Your funding, as far as what you're doing for future projects.
Yeah.
What is the grand plan? Now, we don't want to know all your little secrets, but obviously, what stages are you kind of going through to achieve this?
So, while I was at uni, I did a lot of work on figuring out how to get people to give you money, because that's essentially what we're doing. Be it friends and family, or crowdfunding, or public funding. When I say public funding, I mean by like the likes of Creative England, BFI, Film Council, all that kind of stuff. You know, where they've got pots of money. So there's like, you could do iShorts, where I think you get something like $7,000, and then you've got to raise a little bit more money as well. Or to iFeatures, where you can get up to like $350,000 to make a feature film. But like, that's difficult because everybody is going for that. The way we've done it for this next feature film, now the first feature film we want to do, we want to get private equity investment. We're aiming at the moment for what's classed as very micro budget, which is $150,000 to get us through production. We know that we're going to have to raise more money after that.
Do these figures not scare you?
Not really. I mean, it's all in the grand scheme of things. It's everything's relative, you know. And we're not trying to get rich out of this. We just want to kind of like make something that people are going to watch and enjoy, and hopefully then we can make something else off the back of it, and each time get a little bit more money. It's not that scary, because if you've got a good script, which we have, and then you've got a good director, which we have, and a good team,
producer.
Well, I'm not blowing your trumpet there. And then you've got a good team behind you, which we have. You know, we know who we're going to be using, and again, it's that step up every single time. I mean, Mike Staniford's coming back on board to DOP with us, because it's just we want to work with him, because we know how he works, he knows how we work, and it's like, right, okay, you've helped us on this amazing project, and now we want to take you on to our next project, and we all work together. And the same with some of the other cast and crew. The figures themselves, yes, it's hard to raise that money. We've got to prove to people that, right, okay, we're going to make sure that you don't lose your money. One of the reasons we can do that is through a scheme called SEIS, which SEIS is the Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme. It's for anything up to $150,000, so that's where the $150,000 comes from. What that is, what SEIS is, a tax relief. So somebody who's going to put money into a film, for instance, or a company, it doesn't have to be a film, it can be a company. You set up an SEIS company, and we're setting up SEIS company film. They put, let's say, $20,000 into that, and through SEIS, they can actually claim 50% of that back through tax relief on their income tax or capital gains tax. It's two different ways it works. That's a really great incentive for an investor, because they know they're going to get 50% of their money back without doing anything, you know. It means that their tax bill in 3 years' time, or I think it's 3 years' time, is going to be less than it would have been had they not put the money in. Yes, it's only 50% back, but then also there's something called the film tax credit, which any feature film is entitled to. If you're aiming for cinematic release, you can get, I think it's up to 25% of your budget back through tax relief. So if you say to an investor, right, give me $20,000 and I can give you 75% of your investment back without breaking a sweat.
It's a no-brainer.
It is, you know, and don't get me wrong, not all films make a profit, so they might only see that 75% back, but good films do make a profit.
If you're producing films of the quality of River, I think,
you know, I think we can. Hopefully, we've got an audience with Please Don't Die. It's a very loyal audience. Wrestling fans are awesome. They are absolutely, and nothing's been made for them in recent years, if ever, you know. And so we want to make something for the fans, and we've always said this: we're fans of films, and we want to make films that fans would want to watch.
Yeah,
you know.
clever.
And so we know we've got a ready-made audience there, and we just hope that we're going to work our arses off to make sure that it does make a profit, so that our investors are then, going to regain something.
So it gives you kind of credibility really with these guys. So if you go further and further future, you build relationships.
That's kind of the idea, is like we did this with the two investors that gave us the most money with Ripper. We said to them, look, you ain't getting anything back from this film. Couple of them, both of them got cameos in the film, or put family members in the film. It's like a little bit of a perk, But we said to them, we'll give you first refusal on something that will make you money, hopefully. And they came on board with that, and that's really cool that these guys are still trusting in us, because obviously we made Ripper and they like what we did. That they're going to hopefully give us more money to make bigger things, but then we can give them something back in return. And we'll give them a cameo as well, probably.
Of course. Now, just a little bit of advice really for people who want to make films. People who sat at home with dreams of becoming actors, directors, camera operators, what have you. Have you got any sort of advice for people that are starting from scratch?
There's so many different ways to get into this industry. Obviously, I went to uni and did it, and so many people slate film school, and it worked for me. When I went there, I wanted to be a director, just like everybody else. And literally the first day they said, "Who wants to be a director?" Everybody put their hand up.
Yeah.
Within a few months, I kind of realised, I could direct, but I'm more of a producer, because I like to be able to put everything together, and to make that vision come to pass. So uni worked for me. It's expensive, and you've got to pay it back eventually. But if you can take it, do it, and put your all into it, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Then you've got getting into the actual industry itself, bottom rung. I've done that as well. I was a production runner at how old was I? I was 31-year-old, overweight, as a production runner on a big budget TV show. I was lugging stuff everywhere. It's not easy being a production runner. It's definitely for younger people. It's hard work. But you make contacts. I actually got offered a job and I should have taken it. And I didn't, because I was at uni and I've got a family and I had a business at the time. With hindsight, I should have just sacked everything up. It was on Ridley Scott's film Exodus. I got offered it was only a runner's job, but I should have done it, and it would have been another step on the road. And that was all through being a runner on a TV show. And I think a few weeks ago I was working in Beamish. A girl who I worked with on that TV show 4 years ago rang me and said, could you do us a bit of work at Beamish for a day? And I was like, yeah, no worries. So I went up and I just shot a few things, edited them and sent it down to them. And so making those contacts is great, because they'll always remember you. Especially up in the northeast here, where there isn't a massive, they can't ring up, there's no production companies up here that can ring and say, oh, can you just do this? There are production companies, that's a bad thing to say. There are production companies, but not as well known things, or they don't have branches up here. So they bring people they know, and that's what's happened to me 4 times now. I've worked on projects. The other way of doing it, of getting into this industry, is getting a camera and just going out and shooting stuff. It doesn't have to be like big cameras like these cameras up here. It can be a phone, it can be your phone, and just go out and shoot with people, shoot with your friends. And that's what we do.
I do all the time.
Exactly. We do that all the time as filmmakers, but anybody can do it. Obviously not everybody's going to be good at doing it, but with enough practice, you become better and better and better and better.
Not only that, you get yourself on a set, a film set, and then you kind of learn your path. Really, what are you good at? What your skills are?
Exactly. And one of the crazy things about it is, somebody asks you to do something on a film set, do it. It's just get on and do it, because it's a bit of experience. If it's carrying a load of kit over there, or if it's digging a hole and putting half a guy into it, do it and enjoy it and learn from it. And if someone's sending you to McDonald's or whatever to get coffees for 30 people, do it.
You're on a film set.
You're on a film set, exactly.
Think about it,
and it's the best experience you'll ever have. And that way, you can then take that experience back home with you, and when you shoot that next thing with your friends, you use that experience.
You've got that knowledge to take forward.
And you just keep doing that, and you keep doing that, and the thing that you've got to do is just stick at it. Write, direct, produce, edit, shoot, do the sound, and every single time you do it, it's going to get better and better and better. And that's the only. So those 3 ways of doing it are really good ways of getting into it. It's also good if you know people in the industry that can get you those bigger things, but starting it at home, it's awesome.
Just with ideas.
Yeah, everything starts with an idea, you know. So you just kind of, it's following those ideas. It is hard when people have jobs, have families, and they've got no money to actually put towards making something. That's when you start the no budget stuff, and you favours and just make sure that like what you produce is good enough that when you show somebody next time, they'll work with you again, or they'll say, oh, I've got a friend actually, he's an actor, he'll get involved this time, and I've got a friend who's got a better camera, he might get involved this time, and that's just how it happens. It happens like that. And then with stuff like Four Bridges North East and Any Lawton, or just networking with people and just getting more and more people involved each time.
I'm so in love with this network in the North East. I absolutely love it, man. It's just something that, you know, it is a family.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that day when I posted up on, I'd lost 2 actors, and I posted up on Four Bridges, and I was like, need an actor, this age range, and you popped up, and I was just like, I didn't know you were an actor. You know? Obviously, I'd known you years before, didn't know you. I was like, come on through, man. And you were suited and booted, and I got my suit on, and we looked good. I didn't act very good, but it was quality, and that was through that network, and then we're here.
Just for proof of it, man, let's come together. Serious faces.
I don't know, I can't say my face wasn't serious. What are you looking at?
Thanks very much for coming down.
Thank you, Martin. It's been a pleasure.
It's been absolutely brilliant, yeah, man. And definitely look forward to what's coming out of the minds of you 2 guys from down here.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline, so it's going to be fun.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.